Okay, so we are discussing how to reframe your approach to exercise to help you show up better, to help you show up stronger. If exercising is really, really what you want to do, and you struggle with, finding ways, and I know that a lot of us are stuck in this space of thinking that exercise is not for me, exercise is not something that I love, I'm just not built that way. And I understand where this idea or this perspective might be coming from, because I think at a point in our lives, we all struggled with the identity of exercising and being this exercise person because of what the fitness industry has sold us to be exercise. And sometimes you don't see yourself being able to do those particular things. And that is really, really understandable. It is really okay if you don't feel like you're not the kind of person to jump up and down that way, if you're not the kind of person to lift really heavy. But I believe that identity is not cast in stone. It's like it's malleable, it's flexible. It just depends on what you value in a particular moment. And I'm going to come back to what the fitness industry has fed us and how that is really toxic, and how it has prevented a lot of us from showing up to exercise. And I'm live streaming on Instagram just for a while I introduce this topic, this perspective, and how opening your mind up to new ideas and to new knowledge and education and mindsets and ideas about exercising can help you breach that resistance. And we've talked a lot about the impact, the benefits, why you should exercise. But I don't see it laying any benefit, because we all know we have to exercise, or we believe we know we have to exercise, but we don't really know deep down how is this beneficial, because there's no immediate, you're not seeing that immediate benefit of showing up to exercise. Sometimes, even when you show up to exercise, you still feel like something is wrong. Even while you're exercising, you feel like you have to keep pushing through. You have to keep fighting this, never-ending battle with your body and the movements you're told to do. And we're going to go into all of that in this. And I also want us to really open up our mind to have this, it's called cognitive flexibility when it comes to exercise, that there are so many ways to approach it. It's not cast in stone, it's not definite, it's not upper body days, it's not just upper body days and lower body days. There's different ways to move your body. And yeah, so at the end of this workshop, or this workshop, whenever you go through the journey of learning about exercise, and it is with all intention, I want to gradually reshape your belief and perspective around fitness and what it is, what it looks like, and why you should, embrace your fitness journey as a part of who you are. So the aim is to change your exercise mindset from thinking about it as a chore to a very crucial, enjoyable, and sustainable part of your lifestyle, your family's lifestyle, your community's lifestyle, everyone around you lifestyle. Okay, so we are going to reflect, and you are going to reflect on your own challenges with fitness, exercise, your relationship with your body. And I'm going to share a very special framework on how you can look at all the different areas of your health and see how fitness can play into all of that, and how fitness can really enhance every area of your life. We're going to take away the focus on fitness about your aesthetics and what your body looks like. And I believe it's one of the driving factors of that resistance we feel with exercise, because it's so vain to only think about your fitness and think about your body size and shape. Whereas there are other benefits, so much I can't start to list out the benefits, because it's just there in every area of our lives, in our movements, in the way we show up, in our emotions, our mental health. And I believe this is mental health month, and how your emotional and your mental health is the same, or is together with your physical health, because it's just one body. Your body experiences this emotion, and your physical health is expressed in this same body. So all of those things occur in your body. So it's really crucial we take our fitness serious. And as we start to age, we're going to go into all of that. So get ready to reflect on your own mindset and experiences and challenges with fitness. And you can get to ask me any question at the end of this workshop. Let me try to propel this laptop. I hope I don't block my Instagram. All right, it's still live streaming. Okay, so we're going to be using a lot of exploration and reflection and to really dive into what fitness is to us. So this is what I aim to do. I want your expectation of what fitness could be to open up. I don't want it to be cast in stone, as I already said at the beginning. I want it to open up. I want you to start to question how you see your body, how you feel about your body. Why do you feel like your body needs to be fixed? Why do you feel like you need to change? You need to constantly be in this weight loss mindset? Because we are always in this space and it's so acceptable, but it's so toxic to our body. Like we discuss it like it's the normal thing. You should always want to lose weight. You should always want to you should always be in a deficit, right? And that word deficit, your life shouldn't always be in a deficit. You shouldn't always cut out foods you'd want to enjoy. You shouldn't always want to cut out things. You shouldn't always want to be smaller. So, why do you feel this way about your body? Where did you get that idea? Where did you get that message? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about it. Like, where did that message come from? Right? And I also want you to think about how the fitness industry has contributed to that, right? Because we have a standard of what a fit body should look like, a healthy body should look like. We all have this idea that I should look a certain way. Have we thought about how a healthy person feels? It's not just about the body, it's about you as yourself, how you're experiencing life, how you're seeing life. How does a healthy person feel? Do they feel happy? Think about all the days, all the times you've tried to lose weight. You've pushed that word pushing through. We relate that word pushing through an exercise like it's the normal thing. Sometimes you don't have to push through an exercise, a routine or a workout session. Sometimes you enjoy it and you don't even want it to end. Sometimes I would like to use the word challenging because challenging is not a negative word. Sometimes you go through challenges to come out stronger on the other side, and that is what exercise does for you. That is what fitness does for you. Fitness should enhance every area of your life, but somehow the fitness industry has made it seem like it's okay if a part of your life is suffering as long as your body is sweet and looks good. But no, I'm going to share a very interesting framework. I'm going to go into it later, and how sometimes showing up to exercise might be a stressor and a harmful thing for you in a particular moment, but it's just for you to understand the context in which your fitness exists, in which a physical fitness routine should be. That is how you start to get in touch with your emotions and what your body feels like. And that is what listening to your body is all about. That is what building a healthy relationship with your body is all about. If your fitness or your personal trainer is constantly trying to make you feel bad for eating a certain food, feel bad for not exercising a certain way, then you have to start to question it, right? So I'm going to quote something from this book that I've been reading, and it's really interesting. Between social media and traditional forms of media, we are constantly fed this toxic ideology of what it means to be fit. And because of this ideology, a lot of us, or a lot of people, have felt left out when it comes to fitness. We've started to feel like it's not for me, it's hard, it's challenging, it could never be me, I'm not built that way. But we are all meant to move. Even when you have a disability, the body is built through movement and enriched with good nutrition. And we're not talking about nutrition today, we're talking about fitness. But somehow you can talk about movement, fitness without talking about food, without talking about your emotions. It's just all connected, right? So I want you to take a moment to consider, right, before we go deep into this. I want you to breathe. So take a moment to consider, what do you want exactly from your exercise routine? If you think about what you truly want from exercise, why you want to be fit, why do you want to be fit? Why do you want to show up and exercise? Why do you want a healthy body? What do you want? What do you want to exercise? And if you think about it deeply, we all want something. We want something to change. Sometimes we are focused on the surface level, what your body looks like, but deep down there is a feeling you're chasing. There is something you want. There is emotion. There is an emotion you're looking for deep down. That's why you maybe have tried different workout apps, you've tried different exercises, you've done a lot of things. You've tried Zumba, you've done Pilates, you've tried going to the gym and lifting really heavy. Sometimes you've not tried to lift heavy. You've gone on walks. You're looking for an emotion. What do you want from your exercise routine? And sometimes what we want is connected to um, the identity we have of ourselves. Right? I should feel this way. I should be this way because of an identity we have of ourselves. So sometimes you don't see anybody telling you that you can just actually walk out without it being about lifting heavy. And yes, you strength train, and I'm going to give you a reason for that. And if you have a reason for strength training that it's not in contrast with how you see yourself, you are going to enjoy working out a lot more. For example, you just see yourself as this elegant woman that just wants to be strong, have a good posture, show up confident, and then you're training in such a way that is trying to just be about losing your tummy fat, building bigger bum, and it's going to feel like you're punishing yourself. It's going to feel like, what is this? Because deep down, you're not really concerned about aesthetics. You're concerned about how you show up and how you feel in your body. And sometimes we don't know how to reconcile the two. And it's okay if you also want to look a certain way, but you have to know what is involved. You have to know what it takes. And you have to make peace with what it takes to get there. You have to make peace with the costs and what you're going to gain. Sometimes, if you look at the cost, it might not be worth it for you. That's why you go on this fitness journey and you're like, it's not that serious. It's just tummy. It's not that serious. I have a big tummy. But there's nothing wrong with having a certain body type. Maybe you have to explore the biases you have about certain body types. And that is why you're looking at your body a certain way and then trying to exercise or force your body to look a certain way. So you have to decide what you want from your exercise program. You have to decide what you want to get. What are your motivations? So take a moment to consider that. Think about that. Explore that. I'm gonna keep quiet for a little while you think about what you truly want. Think about it. For me, what do I want from X? I want to be stronger. I want to feel grounded in my exercise, with my exercise, and with my I want to feel grounded in my body. I want to be able to regulate my emotions. And exercise does all of these things for you. I want to feel strong from the ground up. That is what exercising does for you. So you figure out what you want. You want to improve. Maybe you already exercise, but now you want to improve how you show up to exercise. You want to understand your motivations better. You want to have a silent moment with yourself. You want to have time for yourself. What do you want from your exercise program? And we've stayed here for a while, and I want you to, take a moment to list out these things. And this having an idea of what you want is gonna shape how you approach exercise from now on. Now you want to feel grounded, and before you show up to exercise, you ask yourself, what do I really want in this moment? Right? And I already explained from the beginning that your goal determines how you show up to exercise. Now you know you have to strength train to build muscle, and I'm going to come into why exercise. I'm going to differentiate exercise and movement because we get that confused a lot of times. So now you have your list aside. Let's get into why exercise. There's so many reasons to exercise. So many reasons, and I'm going to list a lot that has nothing to look with that has nothing to do with what your body looks like. First, let me get into the really I think the part we have to take concern of, that there is a decline in health of every as in a decline in health generally, emotionally, physically, environmentally, socially, relationally, existentially. We are struggling with more mental health crisis, output and work, and all of these things is directly related to our strength. And you might be like, oh, how? But it is. Think about it. If you don't have enough energy, enough emotion, enough joy, if you don't know how to regulate yourself very well, how do you show up and give your 100% at work? How do you how do you navigate stress, and how do you handle stress? How do you show up for yourself? And there are so many research backing this. When I was researching this workshop, it opened my eyes to a lot. And I think exercising and being in a calorie deficit is actually hurting us more than we think. I see a lot of people in groups about weight loss groups, eating once a day, trying to push through exercise, and it hurts my heart because if you're already eating in a deficit with nutrition and you're pushing your body through the worst stressors because of exercise, how do you show up for your family? How do you show up at work? How do you show up with friends? How do you show up in the society? But if you start to reframe how we think about fitness and exercise, and reframe what we know to be exercising, and start to think about it as empowering, as restoration, as a way we come back to ourselves. And I know that word coming back to your body, coming back to yourself feels like this new age stuff. But your body is how you experience the world. It is through your body you're able to do anything. It is through your body you're able to hug your family, your friends, your husband. It is through your body you show emotion. So your emotional health and your physical health is one. There is no difference. And you might say, oh, in all your exercise, and also think about your mental health. But it is one. How do you think? It is in your body. So let's not differentiate, let's not separate the two, because we have a growth mindset on what mental health should be, but we are stuck in a fixed mindset on what exercise should be and what it feels like, and want to like this is better than the other, but they all are together. They are all the same. So we need to start to build our fitness routines in a way that enhances our life. So why exercise? There is a decline in health. We have been looking at nutrition, we have been looking at diets, we have been looking at fasting, but we're not looking enough at strength training. We only look at it when we want to lose weight or when we want our body to be a certain way, but we're not looking at it closely at how it impacts our life. And there's this research I was reading the other day. It was talking about different body sizes. And guess what? It is better to be overweight, to be obese and fit, than to be normal weight and unfit. You're more likely to die of chronic diseases if you're normal weight and unfit. So if you're normal weight, like your normal body size that is acceptable by society, but you're not fit, you don't have enough you don't have a strong muscle, you don't have enough mineral bone density, you're more likely to get a heart attack and die. So it's better to be overweight and fit. You see? So we're looking a lot at nutrition. You have people going to places telling you what foods are bad for you, what nutrition is bad for you, how you have to fast, how you have to be on diet, how you have to be skinny. But nobody is talking about strength training enough. Why building muscle is really important. Why strengthening your joints is really important, especially as you age. And how what effect does it have in society if you're not strong enough, if you're not healthy enough, if you're not cognitively balanced enough? it affects your output at work, and then it affects you financially. And finance, we don't talk about how much finance affects us enough, because yeah, you can get all the advice from white people that have enough money and have gyms around them and have um, a good environment to work out in. But money, finance is a big stressor, and we're still going to come into that. We are talking about why you have to exercise. One, there's a decline in health. Two, our lifestyles and the quality of our life is going down. So we might be living longer as opposed to the past, but we don't have a good quality of life. That is why you see people at 40 already having hypertension, high BP, chronic diseases. So we are not having enough physical, our community, we don't have, more community bonding anymore. We don't have a reason to go out and play, because we're not moving enough, and this is affecting our mental health and our emotional health. This is mental health awareness month. It's not just about writing in your journals, and all of those things are important, and think about how it's still a manifestation of what your physical body can do, right? So a decline in health, and because of a decline in health, there are societal and individual implications. Fine, if you don't have enough energy to show up and work, if you don't have enough energy to show up in this already high stress environment we are in today, it affects you, and it is more costly to care for your already declining health. So when you are already um, in a deficit with your health, and now you have to treat yourself in the hospital, you cannot show up at work anymore. You're spending the resources you already have, you're spending the energy you already have. What's left, right? It is more expensive to care for your health than it is to show up and exercise to prevent any chronic diseases. Another one is aging. It is really important to age strong. So now stop obsessing about what your body looks like, and think, how how do you already feel right now? You have backaches, neck pain, you get tired easily, you're fatigued, your physical function is declining. You climb, it's not even about climbing the stairs and breathing hard or whatever. It's about being able to climb the stairs without knee pain. It's about being able to squat without knee pain or back pain. It's about not waking up with a certain body ache. It is normal to be 40, 35, 30, and not have body aches. It is normal, because we make this joke about how once you're 30, you start to experience back aches. It's a result of a lifestyle issue. And if you have strong muscles, strong bone, and all of those things, you would not experience these pains. And if you exercise in the way that benefits your body is going to age strong, and your body is going to age significantly well. Think about how you get to the ground and get up. It might seem easy to you now that you're younger, but as you progress to, say, 50, 60, you notice a drastic decline in your ability to do certain things. If you look around you, especially in environments that are not really um, built to encourage physical activity, or maybe environments where there is no safety, and you see people at 50, 60 already declining in health, and how they move, already holding their backs when they move, already scared to fall, because if they fall, how do they stand up? And these are the reasons to exercise. Very good reasons to exercise. So strength changes everything. It changes everything. So there's a lot of evidence showing that, okay, I know that, okay, maybe you've not been exercising and you're thinking, oh, it's already too late. How do I start? Just 2 months of resistance training can bring you back to good health, can negate all those years of not strength training, right? And we're still going to talk about what strength training really is, because sometimes we mistake random movement for exercise and resistance training. We just say, okay, I'm going to the gym today, I'm going to do a couple of random walk, and which is perfectly okay if that is what you do. If that is what you already show up to exercise, you already show up to move, but you have to bring a level of intentionality to how you show up to exercise, because you can't be going to the gym and you're ending up with lots of knee wraps, not lots of ab belts. Um, I see a lot of equipment that are not necessary in the gym. Knee wraps, especially knee wraps, ankle, all those wraps we see. They're not really necessary if you're exercising in a proper way. If you're strength training, including mobility. It's not even about warming up before exercise and warming up after exercise. All of those things are exercise put in one. If you know how to program a good exercise routine, you will see that everything is exercise. The mobility is a full blown exercise. Squatting is a full blown exercise. Lunging is a full. Bringing everything together in a way that enhances your body makes a full exercise routine. But doing random movements here and there is still good, but you have to bring a level of intentionality to it to help you build muscle in a way that strengthens your body. So we have to change our paradigms about how we show up to exercise. Oh, I already listed it. Public health crisis, a decline in health, economic implications, and aging. So 2 decades of age-associated strength loss can be regained in 2 months of exercising. So 2 decades of neglecting your exercise and losing bodily strength can be regained in just 2 months of intentional resistance training. So you have to start exercising today. Today. And I think I'll have to go off on Instagram because, yeah, let's see. Right. Okay. All right. So 2 decades of exercising can be regained in 2 decades of not exercising and losing strength can be regained in 2 months of resistance training. Right. So how does strength change everything? Strength and aging. If you're building your strength while you're aging, makes all of the difference. You enjoy high energy as you're aging. You enjoy your balance, strength, and longevity. It's not just about living a long life. It's about having a quality of life that makes life enjoyable, that helps you show up good, that helps you show up for your family and not feel having all this fatigue, right? Strength and chronic diseases. Oh, this one is big. I already talked about the research that showed, let me see. I already talked about the research that showed that um it is normal to be in healthy it is better and healthier to be overweight and fit than to be normal weight and unfit. It is healthier to be normal weight. It is healthier to be obese and fit than to be normal weight and unfit. You're more likely to die of a heart attack. You're more likely to die of a chronic disease than when you are unfit. So strength changes everything. We have to start changing our paradigms. We have to start shifting our paradigms. There has been so much focus on nutrition, diet, but not enough focus on being fit and strong. This highlights the importance of physical fitness over body weight alone in your general health and longevity. Okay, so this study, it studied 50 people, and they were classified in normal weight, overweight, and obese. And their fitness levels were fit, unfit, and they were measured by the strength of their knees. But it turns out that it's better to be overweight and fit. So let's take that into consideration when next we want to exercise and show up for our health. Okay, good. I hope this has been able to challenge you. I hope I've been able to show you the reason why you have to exercise, why you have to show up for your health. So it's not about convincing you, please exercise. No, it is about showing you why you have to, why it is important, why it is critical for you to show up and exercise. However, let's remember that with all these years of not exercising, with all these years of not showing up to exercise, you have a current belief, you have a current capacity. You are not able to do certain things even if you want to do it. So you might think about showing up to, you have this plan, you want to follow along a YouTube video, and then you think about it. You are motivated, and then you try to do a certain movement. Before you know it, you're huffing and puffing like, oh my God, this is hard. Because you're not just capable of doing it. You don't have the strength yet. You don't have the emotional capacity to handle that much stress. You don't have the physical strength yet. And because you don't have, it feels like there's this there's this feeling inside that I've been there so many times, and I've seen a lot of clients be there so many times. Like, it gets emotional not being able to do certain things you want to do. But it takes capacity building. It takes you changing your mindset. It takes you changing your belief about what has been stopping you from exercising. So we'll have to talk about what you believe about exercise. So we're going to take a while to think about this. What do you believe about exercise? Let's talk about it. So maybe in your notes, as you've written down all of those things before, let's talk about it. And in exploring your personal history with exercise, you are going to have you start to see the stories you've been telling yourself about exercise. It's in exploring this history about exercise that you find out what you believe about exercise and why you have that resistance. Don't knowing you have to show up on exercise, but you don't. What do you believe about exercise? What exercises have you exposed yourself to? What kind of exercises have you done? So you have to think about it. Think about what you've done in the past. Let's think about it. What's your definition of a good exercise routine? Like, what do you feel is a good workout? I want you to write it down for your own personal use. You can put it in the chat, right? Let me go offline on Instagram. All right. Hello, Instagram people. It was nice doing this with you. Bye. See you on the inside. Okay. So, what's your definition of a good workout session? How does exercise make you feel? I want you to think about, why do you want to exercise? I know we've talked about all of these things. We've talked about why to show up to exercise. But then, personally, why do you want to exercise? Why do you want to show up to exercise? Why is it important to you that you exercise? You have to know this thing. It has to be personal to you. It doesn't have to be what someone sold to you, right? Think about what you do for exercise. Because when you show up to exercise, what do you have in mind to do? What do you believe is exercise? Just write these things down. Do you believe exercising is enjoyable? And there's a reason for asking these questions. You have to know those things. Think about your answers and digest them for a minute. If you think about all of these things, do they make you want to show up and exercise consistently? And there could be so many things involved. You might want to show up and exercise consistently, but you don't have enough exercise language to use for when you're feeling a certain way. So you're forced to do the same workout every time, regardless of how your body feels. Anybody? I used to be there. Even if you're feeling tired, you're feeling sad, you're not just in the mood, you want to do something, but you don't know what exercises to do apart from squats and lunges and burpees. So you end up hating exercise. So dig deeper and find out what you believe about exercise. Do you believe there's only one way to exercise? And all of these things affect how you show up for a minute. So look at me for a minute. Don't mind me. Do you believe exercising is fun? What do you think exercise is? What do you believe exercise is? Do you have strict belief as what counts as healthy? Like, are you strict on what is, like, how we think about, good food and bad food? Do you believe there is good food and there is bad food? You believe there is healthy food and unhealthy food? Do you have aesthetic goals but you hate exercise? We're just exploring all the things that could stop you from showing up. You want to look a certain way, but you hate the process of exercising. Do you believe that a healthy person should show up and exercise every day? What do you believe? So now, what you believe about exercise is what you believe about exercise is what is sabotaging your exercise behavior. So when your brain is constantly exhausted from doing everything you hate about exercise, you will not want to show up to exercise. You're going to feel that resistance. So every time you want to show up and exercise, it is something you hate, and you believe healthy people have to show up every day and exercise, but you hate exercising. After a while, it is not about willpower, because willpower doesn't run out. And I know we say willpower runs out, but willpower doesn't run out because it is not about exercise. You can't keep doing something you hate and expect to keep showing up to do it, right? It's just like content creation. You can't keep hating creating content and expect to keep showing up to do it. You have to find a way to fall in love with it. So if you need to exercise, you have to find a way to fall in love with exercising, to stop that resistance. And even if you fall in love with exercising, there's still going to be some resistance with exercising. There's still going to be that moment when you don't want to show up, when you don't want to exercise. There's still going to be those moments. However, because you've considered the reason you want to show up, it is ingrained with what you believe about yourself. Now you have movement languages to use. You have different exercises to use for different contexts. It is easy to show up and exercise. So you want to think about it. You can't keep tasking your brain with these things you hate and expect it to want to allow you exercise. It's gonna try to protect you from doing something you hate. You're asking your brain to do something that is difficult. You're asking your brain to do something that is time consuming. And I'm talking about exercise. You're asking your brain to do something that you don't enjoy. And you're surprised you don't do it consistently because you don't do it. You have to allow new ideas about what fitness is to come into your mind so you can show up for your health in a way that you enjoy. So your brain allows you. More like, yes, because if you keep doing something you hate, your brain is going to try to stop you from doing it. And that is that resistance you feel with both your emotions about exercising, physically about exercising. So you have to look back on your belief, your ideas, your perspective. For me, it meant looking back. It meant sitting in and saying, what do I really want with exercise? Because I got to a point in my life where, as much as I wanted to hate my body, as much as I wanted to change my body, I started to hate exercising. And for me, I loved moving my body for all my life. I've always loved outdoors. I loved playing. I loved moving. But when it came to strict exercise routines, I started to hate that part because it meant endless squats. And the squats were not getting any smaller, they were getting tougher, they were getting longer. You know, when you're trying to, build a certain aesthetics, you start out with doing 20 kgs of squats and maybe higher reps. Before you know it, you're doing 30 kgs and lower reps. So you're getting, lifting more weight, so you're spending more time in the gym basically, just following strict rules. And it's different if you're an athlete. It's different if you're training for a sport, you're training for something. But if it's just something you're not really that concerned about, this shape of your body because you want people to compliment it, you're going to hate exercising. You're going to hate showing up to exercise. You're going to hate the process. So why do you want to show up to exercise? Think about it. So it takes looking back and find out what made you hate exercise in the first place. Maybe you were punished all the time when you were younger with different exercise positions. No wonder you hate exercise. It's completely okay to hate exercise in that moment. It is completely okay. No wonder you hate it. Think about it. It's a good reason to hate it. Okay? So look back. Me, I hated that I had to follow these rules for exercise. I love adventures. So imagine loving adventures and having to follow strict rules about exercise routine. I just hated it. I hated that I had to eat a certain way all the time. I hated that I had to avoid foods that I loved. And the funny thing about all of this is that the fitness industry applauded all of these things because they were not healthy anymore. Imagine living your life every day, counting your meals, counting out which it's different if you're allergic to certain foods or you just simply do not care. But foods that you want, food that you enjoyed as a little kid, food that you really adore, and then you're told not to eat them because you have to look a certain way to look healthy. It's not even about looking healthy. Think looking healthy. What about being healthy? And there's so many ways to health. There's so many different pointers to health. It's not just what your physical body looks like. We've talked about emotional health, mental health, environmental health, social health, existential health. How do you feel on the inside? So you would not fall in love with exercising today without looking back. You have to look back and redefine what fitness means to you. Looking back at your values, your perspective, you have to look back at what fitness means to you. So let's think about that. What does fitness mean to you? How would you want to show up for your fitness? Look back at how exercising and moving your body has made you feel over the years. While I set up this camera, I want you to look back at it. Okay? What you were thinking. Okay? Now, as we're done looking back and realizing that, oops, I've been looking at fitness in very unhealthy ways. I've been looking at fitness in ways that have been harmful to my body. I've been looking at fitness in ways that restricts me. I want you to reframe ways you're connecting with yourself, because fitness, the part of fitness that is not talked about enough, it's how it helps you connect to yourself. The daily ritual of getting up from your bed, putting on your workout clothes, coming out to a space where you're quiet and it's just you. It's a way of retelling the story you have been told about yourself. It's a daily process of understanding and examining who you are, who you want to be. So that is what fitness is. It's not just about upper body days and lower body days. Yeah, if you want to build a certain body type, those things are okay. It is okay. But if you just care about getting healthier, being fit, then you have to rethink what fitness is to you. Okay? Now, I'm going to be introducing you to the Deep Health Framework. And we are rounding up on our workshop today. But this is what changes everything. With Jane's movement, we are health first. We come to you, we approach fitness from a very compassionate, health first perspective. If losing weight is going to affect your health, we are going to come from a different perspective and say, okay, how do we look at your health first and then bring weight loss in? You don't say weight loss first and then my health, because you're not going to be able to achieve anything you're if you're not able, if you're not healthy. You're not going to be able to lose weight if you're not healthy. You're not going to be able to show up for your family if you're not healthy. You're not going to be able to show up for yourself if you are not healthy. So we talk about health first. So we're talking about the deep health framework. And this was originally gotten from Precision Nutrition, I'm looking for the word, a very, it's a nutrition certifying body. And they talk about deep health so well. It discusses, which I am a certified member. So we'll talk about deep health and why it is a very critical part of your fitness and health journey. And I want us to look at the different areas of health and how we can show up for that. We can show up for our bodies, our physical health, mental health, and it's only through education. We run away from learning about exercise because we believe we should already know, because we've been bombarded with different ways to exercise, and we're like, okay, we only know what to do. So you can only learn. It is through education that you can explore what exercise is. It's through learning about your body learning about exercise, learning about fitness, then you need to heal. It is important. It's a very necessary part of the process. You need to heal from all the pain that you've inflicted yourself when you work out, on yourself when you work out. You need to heal from the guilt of feeling like you have not been taking care of your body. You need to heal from the pain exercise has inflicted on you. You need to heal from the starvation that you've done to yourself because you're trying to look a certain way in the guise of looking healthy, because we are chasing the look. We forget to actually be healthy. We are chasing the look of health, but we are not healthy. We don't feel healthy mentally, emotionally, physically. We don't feel healthy, but because society is applauding starving yourself, eating once a day, pushing yourself through exercise, we think it is health. If you truly think about it, being skinny doesn't equate to being healthy. If you have to starve yourself to be healthy, if you have to starve yourself to look a certain way, if you have to be in a deficit, in a health deficit, it's called a health deficit. If you have to be in a health deficit to appear healthy, remember, as much as my voice is coming up, the foundation in this place is love. Why am I doing all of this teaching? Is because I believe education is the way to go when it comes to your health and fitness. You have to learn about your body. You have to learn about your food. You have to learn about exercising. But to be able to exercise, you have to embody the identity of an exerciser. To be able to exercise, you have to embody the identity of who an exercise person is. What do they do? How do they live their lives? And we're going to be able to do that using the deep health framework. And there are several dimensions. According to precision nutrition, there are 6 dimensions. However, in my research, I've been able to come up with like 8 dimensions. I had to put social and financial in there because if your exercise routine is eating deeply into your finances in a way that is a stressor for you in return, then there is a deficit. Your physical fitness, your health journey, if it becomes a stressor on your finance, on your financial health, then it is not healthy in that context. It all exists in context, right? So it's not just about your body fat percentage. It's not just about your blood work. It's all the factors that affect how you think, how you live your life, how you feel, how you connect to other people, how you show up for the things that matter to you. So I'm gonna show you the deep health, right? The deep health framework. And I'm going to really break it down. We have the emotional framework. You have your emotional health. And I feel like it's really important to explore how your physical health and your emotional health is the same. You're expressing emotions in your body. And if you're not physically able to care for yourself, you are stuck in your emotions. And if you cannot move from one place to another because of your physical health, you see how all of that is interconnected. So, how are you doing emotionally? So, your emotional health is about your general mood, it's recognizing and accepting the full range of a human emotion. And emotion is really important. Identifying what you're feeling in a particular moment changes everything. Identifying and being able to name what you're feeling in a particular moment changes everything. Your emotional health is connected to your physical health. And your relationship with exercise should not take or strip your joy away from you. If it takes your joy away from you, then it is not healthy. If showing up to exercise makes you sad, then exercise in that context is not healthy. If showing up to exercise makes you feel bad about your body, then exercise in that context is not healthy. So you have to think about physical fitness in let me show you this slide. You have to think about physical fitness in different contexts and then choosing what exercise to do that would enhance a particular part of that health part of yourself. So financially, maybe you want to invest in going to the gym for 6 months and it costs a lot of money. And if you spend this money in the gym this month, then you're not going to be able to eat for the rest of the month. You're not going to be able to commute to work. You see how it's a stressor. So what do? You decide, okay, I'm going to show up and exercise at home. And in another context, you could wake up and not feel like doing the exercise on your routine for that day. And then you think, what exercise would make me feel better? What kind of movement would make me feel better in this moment? And then you choose that. That means it is healthy in that moment. It is enhanced, it is empowering other areas of your deep health framework. So if you think it takes a critical thinking moment. It is for yourself. We are we have become so engrossed in coaches telling us what to do, but a coach cannot tell you what is going on in your body. A coach doesn't know about your body more than you. You know about your body more. You shouldn't allow a coach might write a routine, a fitness program, or draw up a fitness program for you, but it is left for you to decide how that program makes you feel. If you want it adjusted, you have the right to tell your coach, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. My body doesn't feel like doing this. At that times, you have to challenge yourself, yes, but you have to ease into it. Start up with something that feels warm and opens you up. That is why you see people telling you to stretch before you work out. And if it's strict, how do I put this? If you're an athlete, yes, you have to follow specific rules. Um, will it affect your emotional health later? Possibly, but it is for work. It is you're an athlete. It is what comes with the where you are, right? And it could be healthy for you in that moment because at the end of the day, if you go on to win whatever sport you are training for, it enhances your health. It gives you that sense of purpose, which is existential health. You see how it is all connected. It is all connected in a context. This would help you, this framework would help you decide what exercise you have to do a certain day, in certain context, in certain mode. So you're not that resistance to exercise in a particular way is out of the window. You find that it is more flexible to show up. Your routine is more flexible and you're still prioritizing your health. You're feeling good in different health contexts, right? So we'll talk about your physical health. How do you feel physically? Physical health is not just about your physical health is not just about what your body looks like. I've said that a lot of times. It's about how your body feels, how your body functions, how you're performing. Can you stand up? Can you fall and stand up quickly? you know so when we think about the word health, we just think physical health, but that's not just what health means. There are different areas of your health. It's just one dimension of your health. Your physical health is just one dimension. It is not the most important. It is one dimension, right? And we talk about your mental health. So how did you react the last time you struggled with something? Your intellectual health, your cognitive health, how you think, how you remember, your perspective, and how you look at the world, your capacity for insight, your capacity for creativity. And there are some days, and your physical health affects your mental health affects your physical health. So you see, your outlook, how you think about exercise, affects how you exercise, affects if you exercise. So you also have to think about your mental health. We've talked about your existential health. Ever wonder how you feel good after a moment of prayer or doing something deeper, or figuring out your why in life, your sense of purpose? And your physical health affects your existential health, because you're training, you're being strong, so you age strong, so you have energy to fulfill your purpose in life. It's interesting, right? Your relational health, how you relate with everybody around you. Do you feel seen? Do you feel respected? How do you carry yourself? Your sense of belonging, all of that. So let's think about that. Let's think about this framework. I am just, trying to round it up because it's been an hour and 20 minutes. So you think about the deep health framework, and I think we have to dive deep into this. This will help you align your fitness with your values, your identity, who you are, and help you be able to sit with the fitness program and say, okay, what do I really want to do? Aside the fact maybe you want to build a certain aesthetics, I want you to understand how your current capacity to exercise can affect that, right? Let's talk about that. So, regardless of what your fitness goal is, regardless of how you want to exercise, regardless, you have to be honest with your current capacity to move your body. You have to be honest with yourself that you used to exercise before. Maybe you dieted one time and you were able to lose weight, and that was your capacity in the past. But this present moment, what can you do? How well are you able to regulate your emotions and show up to exercise? Because you have said to yourself, I am a kind of person that exercises. I'm the kind of person that takes care of my health. And then you wake up in the morning and feel like, oh more, this thing is hard. What kind of person are you? Have you been able to regulate your emotion well enough to make a decision and stick by it regardless of how you feel? Have you built enough capacity to do 10 squats without feeling like questioning your whole existence and thinking, is this what I'm going to keep doing to get to my fitness goal? So you have to start with the three that you can do and do it very well, like squat and squat well, and enjoy it. Enjoy the challenge and then grow your capacity. We don't talk enough about the emotions that comes with not being able to exercise. There are certain emotions that will come up. It's more like showing you your inabilities, showing you your weakness. And there's this shame and guilt and this warm feeling that comes with it. It's a very humbling feeling. But now that I've made it open, you have to be honest with your capacity to move. Look around you. What can you do? What do you know? What have you done in the past? How long can you perform a certain exercise? If you're honest with these things, you will not have to push yourself to oblivion because you're trying to impress a personal trainer, or you're trying to impress somebody, or trying to prove something to yourself. Know your current capacity, do what you can do in the moment, and grow from there. That is how you become better at exercising. We've listed all the ways you have to exercise, why you have to exercise, why it is important you start today. I'm rounding up all of these things because we are way past our time. So I said, you have to look back, recognize the mindset that you have, your current capacity, so you know what next is possible for you to do, what is actually possible for you to do. Because you can have all these grandiose goals about how you want to show up and exercise, what your exercise body could look like, but you have to be honest about the belief you have now, so you don't keep getting stuck. This is how you navigate setbacks with exercise. This is how you're like, okay, I didn't exercise yesterday, I'm going to exercise today. Compassionately, and be honest with yourself. Self-compassion means being completely honest with yourself about where you are in this moment and what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. You can't approach fitness from a self-hate perspective, from an avoidance perspective. I want to talk about goals, where we talk about avoidance goals and approach goals. Sometimes, a lot of the times, even especially in fitness, we set avoidance goals. We want to avoid feeling a certain way. We want to avoid gaining weight. We want to avoid. And your brain doesn't know how to handle avoidance. Your brain knows how to get empowered. Your brain wants to feel good. Your brain wants to grow. So instead of going from an avoidance perspective, look at yourself honestly. What are you able to do, and how can you empower yourself to get to the next level? That is what fitness, how you're gonna first approach setting your fitness goals and crafting out your fitness routines. So if you're thinking about, okay, this is what I know, this is my fitness level, this is, and be wary of coaches that don't ask you all of these things and just say you have to do these things. What do you mean? You just have to be disciplined enough. You just have to want it bad enough. It is not about wanting it bad enough. If you can't do it, you can't do it. You have to craft out ways and practices and skills you need to build to get to that next level of your fitness. It is like that, but we don't take the time to learn about exercise. We just think if I push hard enough, I'm gonna get it. No, it is actually arrogant to think that way. You have to practice certain skills over and over and over again. You have to practice, you know, waking up certain times and exercising and showing up and thinking about, oh, what would be of the greatest benefit to my health in this moment, and choose that path. You're feeling sad, and you know that if you just get out and receive fresh air, open air, move my body in a certain way, I would actually feel better. You're feeling sad, and you know if I truly, worship and pray and move my body in certain ways. Think about the times where you've prayed and you move your body in certain ways, and you feel good, you feel empowered. That is what physical fitness is. It is not just, getting somewhere, squatting and going home, getting somewhere, lifting this. It is, that's not what fitness is. We think about deep health when we are approaching fitness. So until the next workshop, we are actually now going to be talking about the skills and the practices and the actions required to build a lasting fitness routine. Okay, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you about what fitness is. Right? I am excited we've gotten to do this today. So if you've been taking notes, I want you to look at the notes, look at all the beliefs you've written down. Think back, look back to the times where you've resisted exercise, and on top of resisting exercise, feeling bad about your body and how you feel about your body. Oh, I need to gain weight, I feel so skinny. Look back at those things and ask yourself, what do I really need to change with everything I've learned today? What do I need to do? How do I need to change? And then make the decision to say, okay, what do people that exercise frequently do? How do they show up? And decide that you're going to show up in that way. And in the next workshop, we will decide or start to learn the skills and practices and actions required to now show up and do the exercise needed to get you to your fitness goals. We've come to the end of our workshop. I'm excited we've been able to do this and show up in the way. Thank you for showing up. I see a few people streaming because this is a stream. I wanted it to be a Zoom meeting, but I decided to go on a stream because this is not where we get practical. We get practical in our next workshop where we draw out our skills for our various fitness goals. And I hope you had a good time. Have a very good day. I'll see you in the community. Bye.